Hello again, everybody. I am back to max rank the hard campaign. If you're hoping for a new story, I'll have to disappoint you. It's pretty much the exact same thing as before. There are a couple of new chapters that have new maps and new little plotlines that go with them. One thing I thought of, by the way, is that Kindle in Dual Strike refers to Hawk as being a macro-land CO, which suggests that maybe he is a human quisling from this planet who just joined Black Hole. But I really doubt the writers thought at all about the story, so who knows. Okay, instead of an Andy mission, we start off with what was previously Sammy's first mission. Made it a lot harder, of course. Unfortunately, this is not really a great beginning to the hard campaign, because the way they make this one harder is basically making a fog of war and just giving Flak a giant army in the fog and a couple of gotchas. Not great level design, but things get a lot better from here. So we have a pretty good balanced army, but we're playing as Sammy, and Sammy is terrible for this mission. Hawk has a better balanced army. He's got 2 MD tanks, he's got a rocket, he's got 2 artillery, he's got 4 tanks, he's got 2 anti-airs, he's got 3 mechs, he's got everything basically, except that we have battlecopters and he doesn't. That is our one crucial advantage, which we need to make the most of. Advance like that. We need to put a bait unit onto the city to lure his MD tank to come down and shoot him, our guys. So let's go ahead and do that. This is some capture. It is important to take a mech and drop it off over here, and it needs to be here. You might be tempted to drop over here, but don't do that, because in a gotcha moment, he's got an artillery right there that'll just shoot you. Alright, something like this will do. The details don't matter that much beyond the units that I specifically mentioned to be in particular places. So, on average, he'll do about 7 damage to a recon with his MD tank, roughly. The details don't really matter, but it is nice to have 3 HP later on. Okay, cool. So here come his mechs. There goes his artillery off to some unspecific spot. He moves things differently every single time you play it, really, so it's a little hard to predict. Alright. With even fairly bad luck, I should be able to finish this guy off. You might be thinking I'll be using the artillery plus the rocket, which is the obvious thing, but I think it's actually smarter to do things differently than that. So I will be instead using the artillery and the MD tank, which frees the rocket up to move further forward this turn, but can overshadow a lot of things with its attack range. So let's do that instead. Battlecopter shouldn't attack because he has 2 anti-airs over there, so I'll just block the river off. Everything's typical for him. Yeah, the APC might be useful later on as a blocker or a scouter. We'll go with that. Great. He usually does that. He usually suicides his 2 anti-airs at the same time if you take this formation. If you don't, it's anyone's guess what he'll do. Okay, so let's do the obvious moves first. He can only hit one thing, so he goes for it. This can also only hit one thing, so he goes for it. Now, we've got a few more options at this point. I think it is still best, usually, to keep this copter somewhere in this vicinity, because his MD tank will actually attack you, and you don't really want that. You want to get committed into the fight sooner than that. And you also want your copters to come over here and become walls in the future. So, let me not do that. Let me just go for... I do that attack, let me do that attack, and then finish it off with something else, like my copter. It's probably tempting to use the rocket to finish off his, or damage his tank back there, but I think this is probably better. I'll just go for this. Maybe just shoot that thing. Although it is tempting to use that instead. But Sammy, we can't actually do that and win. Whatever, I will try this. I'll try different formations. I do like that there's some creativity where your formations can be starting from this turn, but it still could be better, I think. what do I want to do over here? I want to have these copters here where they can form a makeshift wall to cover my mech as it advances toward the HQ. You pretty much need to get the HQ to win this one because the time limit is so strict. He has a tank in that forest, doesn't he? Yeah, I think he does. Very well. We will just go like this, and my anti-air can get shot up, but I don't care too much about it. You know what I could do? I could pull back and let him advance. No, I think it's better to go for it like this. I'll just do it. The other one can't get good terrain at least. Sammy sucks, so she fails to take out that mech. One thing which is occasionally frustrating, but good design about the hard campaign, is that you're often forced to use COs that really don't get to play to their strengths all the time on that mission. Like Sammy here. There's the MD tank. Not where I'd like it. Oh, actually, you know, it's in rocket range, so it is where I'd like it to be. Cool. Unusually bad move by Flak there. Give a big hand to the man with no brains here. This will probably give him his super, which is a bad thing. With his super, he can pretty easily do damage to your copters. Not great. Or to your other units, for that matter. Also not great. The MD tank in particular is quite vulnerable during his super, depending on what its position is at the time. But taking some damage on it is pretty much the only way to get victory march here if you want it. So it is tempting, in fact, to just pull back at this point and make him waste his super on something dumb. Oh, he doesn't have it yet, though, does he? No, he doesn't. I could probably force him to get it by attacking him with... Let's see. I need to keep in mind the turn limit, though. So, 4 days. So if I don't move now, but I move, day 5, day 6, 7, 8, I can win as long as nothing's blocking me. 9-day time limit is fairly strict. Tons of woods here means lots of possibilities for ambushes. You can't really do all that much about it. Well, that partly makes my decision for me, but that's okay, I can certainly adapt to this. You need to adapt a lot in the hard campaign, really, which is good. Although he's not smart enough to use his CO power unless I give it to him, is he? No, he's not. So, okay, I have to get cautious here, I have to pull people back. It's not great, but I'll survive. How close is he? Yeah, he'll probably get it if I attack him, so I won't do that. I will just walk over hereabouts. Oh, that's weird. His rocket usually hides in the woods as a gotcha, but I guess it didn't this time. We'll see what it does now. Well, that worked out pretty well, in that he didn't actually do any kind of intelligent breakthrough. Now, he is covering that square I want to advance the mech into. He's covering his HQ better than usual this time. Pulled all those indirects back to it, but then he left them out in the open, so who even knows what he's thinking. That should allow me to break through the copter, I guess, and get to those back lines. But I still can't advance safely with my mech, so I'm getting into trouble. I'm just trying to keep the copters alive rather than keep hunting down his guys at this stage, though. Like, he can't attack them with his indirects under his super, so... how do I want to do this? I think... Finish it off with that guy. Now, this anti-air unfortunately is stuck and can't really help out. Still can't really get through. I could advance the MD tank in there, but he could shoot it with his tanks and maybe get lucky. Which wouldn't be ideal. Are his tanks in there injured or are they at full strength?
Well, if he gets lucky, he can hack through the MD tank, but that'll just give him a victory march, so either way I can turn it into a winning situation. He can't break through and do anything actually dangerous to me.
You got pretty lucky.
Well, Plan A is usually to have the battlecopter screen for the mech while it goes across that big gap between the woods. Plan A isn't really going to work here. Plan B is to use double time to get across that gap and get into the other wood, and that works quite well. You can almost always do that and win the mission that way if you need to. Plan C, if things go really badly, is just to use Victory March to win. You've got to be adaptable, got to have some plans and backup plans depending on how the AI moves and what kind of luck rolls you and they get. I don't know how much thought they put into the spacing of the woods and so forth in this map. As I said, you pretty much have to win by HQ capture this time. It is possible theoretically to hunt these units down if he cooperates, but if he hides them somewhere, you really won't be able to hunt them down in time. And that gap between the woods really does call for a double time to get across. I am wrecking tons of his guys this turn, which is helpful. Less clutter in my way if I need to go support the mech going for the capture.
That part's not so great, but it's expected. You know, with him leaving all his guys out in the open, it might actually be possible to just wipe him out and win that way. I'm not sure, though. He might have other guys hidden. You don't want to trust to luck about something like that. Anyway, here's the plan, though. I actually can get Victory March now because it took so much MD tank damage, so I'll just go for that. I was going to double time into the woods, but it looks like this will just work, so I'll go for it. Just kill enough of his stuff and I'll get that last half star. Will it be the APC that does it?
Yes, it will. I guess it was carrying some CO power and then mixed with infinite fuel and ammo.
Making sure the path is clear. Yep. Okay, we got it. So there we go, the first mission down. A few things went wrong, but it's typical for the hard campaign.
What a great line, especially in those early rambling tutorial chapters. Of course, since he's always getting away from us, maybe shutting the trap on him would be good advice.
Alright, looking forward to better missions soon.
I like that river background. It kind of looks like something out of Days of Ruin with the sun leaking through the clouds there, though. Dumb though the guy is, he'll get away every single time forever somehow. And like I say every single time, have a great day, everyone.